What's up? Welcome to the Fling Daily Drafts Pod. We are looking at weekly winners, week 9. We're looking at underdog drafts, the battle royale, week 9. Little small fields, large field, a little bit of both, and then we are going to jump into the week 10 draft strategy. So let's get into it. All right, so Week 9, weekly winners. This format is best ball meets DFS, and surprise, surprise, CJ Stroud won everything last week across all formats. You won your season long, you won your dynasty, you won your DFS on DraftKings, on FanDuel, on Owners Box. You won your daily drafts, you won your weekly winners, you moved up in best ball. That's what CJ Stroud did, 41 points. And let's see who he was stacked with. So Tank Dell. So clearly, this guy, Keola 25, targeted CJ Stroud stacks. That was kind of his strategy. CJ Stroud was one of his quarterbacks. The other being Jalen Hurts. I'm guessing he had like AJ Brown. Yeah. So pretty nasty combo, right? To have every single week, Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. But oh, by the way, took a shot on an ascending young talent in CJ Stroud and was able to get Tank Dell stacked with him, as well as Nico Collins. So let's see. Yep. Oh, Dalton Schultz as well. So, really hit it out of the park with both of his quarterbacks. So really give him a chance to be able to win one of these, and certainly did. So won $20,000. And, running backs Rashad White, Gus Edwards, and Najee, and Damian Pierce. So this was clearly a 0 RB build, where I'm guessing, his first pick was probably AJ Brown. Let's take a look at that again. See what his first pick was. Pick number 7. Yeah. So probably did AJ Brown and then came back around and got Jalen Hurts. So there was a third pick, would have been Jalen Hurts, who was the second pick that he took. Yeah, nonetheless, let's take a look at the second place lineup. So more of the same, right? CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, Nico Collins. We got Schultz there. We do not have Schultz there. Completely different build, but was still able to get kind of the same stack that won this specific week. So CJ Stroud and Dell and Nico Collins. So those were the first and second place lineups. Now let's go ahead and look actually at overall for week 9. The Battle Royale was the one I played. Took a couple shots in this one. This one has 60,000 plus. Yeah, 68,000 plus entries. And, $5 entry fee, large field GPP, first place, 146 points. Now, there was actually a duplicate. We'll see if the exact same lineup was played, which I'm guessing. I was just thinking about this today. Good for Peter Overzet. That's a pretty big name there. Pretty much smashed this contest. We'll take a look at a couple of his lineups. But I was just thinking about this earlier today. I haven't really seen any dupes yet, which is kind of surprising because you're only drafting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players. So I'm guessing this was the week where there were dupes. So CJ Stroud and Dalton Schultz. So wow, no Nico or Dell. That is shocking. Stroud, Schultz, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper. So that was the first place lineup. Same exact lineup that scored 146 points. So there weren't two paths to get to 146 points here. It was just one. Let's see what third place did. CJ Stroud, Schultz, same thing. Pretty shocking to not see Nico Collins or Tank Dell in these top builds. So these contests, that's what I would stress with these. You are only drafting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots. So it really does not have to be perfect. You just kind of have to draft great within a certain range of players, which really 146 really left a lot of points on the table. Let's see what Peter was able to come down with. So he actually had Tank Dell. So he had Dell and Schultz, which is pretty crazy, right? I think what really killed him was that he didn't have 2 running backs this week, and went with AJ Brown and Evans. So he had the 3 wide receivers, only 1 running back, and these guys just didn't get there. But the Stroud to Dell to Dalton Schultz, like that certainly should have gotten to the top, and he was quite close with Jacobs. And really, it was just the other wide receivers that he picked that didn't quite get there. So that was his first lineup. Let's see what he did with the next one. So clearly, he was on the right builds. Kind of same thing. CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz. This one had Jacobs and AJ Brown and Swift. So really, it was just Swift that crushed this lineup, but totally smashed it as far as the right stacked target. Just didn't have. Let's see if he had any more over here. Just didn't have kind of enough of the plays around it to get there. But yeah, that's really incredible stuff to put 2 lineups in the top 10. So good for him. I guess I didn't do terrible this week. I did, 738th place out of 65,000. So not too bad. But yeah, I mean, Dak had a great game. But yeah, you needed Stroud to win anything. So I did well picking Dak, Josh Jacobs, and Ramondre Stevenson. And Jake Ferguson really was just a wide receivers that crushed me. I certainly could have been closer to in the nuts if I had played like Tank Dell, for example, and another wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb. So not too bad. But let's go ahead. I think we're going to do a draft right now, do a live draft. I'm going to go over some of the players I like. And let's do the main slate. Let's do another battle royale. Also, play these dog bowl qualifiers, and the goal line stands, because there's many fewer entries. In fact, we're gonna do this one. They're just much easier to win. We might not be able to do a live draft if this is a problem. That's news to me. First time I've had this issue. So main slate, let's try this one. I'm going to be so annoyed if we can't do a live draft. All right, let's just close this out, and we're going to try this again. Okay, so I think we're good now. We're waiting for one person, so this is going to go quite quick. Want to go over some of my favorite plays at each position, and this can be really hard to do as I'm kind of spitting out my plays and draft starting. So yeah, we got 50 seconds spitting out my plays and still trying to draft. But let's start over at quarterback. So the top guy, I think, this week, and will probably be the people that are the quarterback that people are going to be drafting the most, is going to be Joe Burrow. He projects really well going against Houston. It's one of the highest game totals on the slate. Houston has certainly been in shootouts pretty recently, as much as last week. So the secondary certainly can be exposed. Pretty good against the run, but better attacked through the air. So Joe Burrow, I love him this week. They have a 26.75 implied team total. He's really the top pay up option, but I do like, and really just the top option to be targeting in these drafts. So I do like the other side of that as well, CJ Stroud. So all right, I'm picking fourth. So we got Christian McCaffrey. But yeah, I like CJ Stroud on the other side as well. So if I do miss out on Joe Burrow, I am certainly happy playing the other side of that and going right back to CJ Stroud. So we got Burrow, Lamb, Amon-Ra, St. Brown. I'm going to take Jamar Chase here and try to get the Burrow stack. I really like Jamar Chase. I think he is going to play. He did log a couple of practices or without Higgins. You know, naturally people are going to think, oh, well, we'll go to Boyd, we'll go to Irwin, and you can go to those guys. But really what happens when Higgins is out is Chase gets even more targets. So I think this is a smash spot for Chase, and I'm loving getting him right here, and I'm hoping I can come back around and grab Joe Burrow. Now, there's also the other way to play it is if Joe Burrow is not there, or, you know, I like someone better within this range, I could certainly see just playing the Stroud side of it and running Chase as a bring back. So that's possible too. But after me, we got Tony Pollard, who I think is in a great spot. Keenan Allen. He projects well, but I'm not a huge fan of the matchup this week. And Austin Eckler. And then there's one more, and then it's me. So I do think I will be able to come back around. And yep, Mixon. There went Mixon. That's fine. I didn't want Mixon anyway. I will take Joe Burrow. So now I got my Burrow to Chase stack complete. Like I said, Joe Burrow is my favorite QB on this slate. So I love that. I also like Dak. I think there is more risk with Dak this week just because there's a good chance they're just going to run the ball. And I think Pollard is a much better play, actually, because the Giants really shouldn't put up any opposition. There's kind of really two ways to play it. It's going to either go really good or really bad because the Giants aren't going to do much and they can just run the ball down the throats and get out of the game. So I think that's probably the most likely scenario, but Dak still projects really well. A couple other games that I really like to target: Jared Goff and Justin Herbert. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. Of course, he went right before me, or else, you know, I might have considered picking him. But yeah, I think him, he's my favorite play all around. And I think with Goff, that's a great stack that you can certainly target this week. I also like Justin Herbert. It is a high game total. They're going to have to push the pace to keep pace and try to win. So I think Herbert is a pretty good play as well this week at quarterback. So what we got after I took Burrow, we got Kamara, Etienne, Laporta, Debo, Evans, and Hopkins. So who shall I take here? There's Tank Dell. So I can complete the stack. Burrow, Chase, Tank Dell, bring back. So I got two wide receivers, a quarterback. I'm definitely going to have to take a running back with my next pick. And then Ayuk went after me. So let's see the running backs left. Not my favorite. So Bijan, he's splitting with Algier. And Algier's the goal line back, so I hate it. Jahmyr Gibbs, I would have loved this spot. Now with Montgomery's back, they're in a timeshare. Henry's in a tough matchup. Aaron Jones actually has a pretty good matchup. Might be Aaron Jones. So I could totally see picking Aaron Jones. I'm probably going to pick one of Aaron Jones or Kenneth Walker. This is a really bad game script for Saquon Barkley. I'm just not going to get there. I love Montgomery. He could be positive leverage, but it's just really hard because Jahmyr Gibbs has really come on, and he's coming back from injury. Los Angeles is pretty good against the run. They're better attack through the air. So when you play Montgomery in this spot, you're basically hoping they get down to the goal line several times and he gets all the looks. All right, so it's my turn now. Looks like both Aaron Jones and Walker are there. So I'm going to take Aaron Jones. And, I might just come back around and take Walker as well. So we got Henry. Herbert went off the board. Mark Andrews. I took Aaron Jones, and I'm up again in 6 picks. So the other quarterbacks that I really like, Gino and Sam Howell in that game. I think that game has huge shootout potential, and really, that's why I want to get Kenneth Walker. But if I can't, I think I might do a ping pong stack of some sort with, like McLaurin and Metcalf for Lockett. I really think that game has shootout potential, and I'm really going to try to target that game. But yeah, I like both of those quarterbacks. I also like Purdy in this spot with Debo back going against Jacksonville. So yeah, those are more or less the quarterbacks that I'm interested on this slate. So let's see. Dak went off the board. Hawkinson, Dak, Deontay, Brian Robinson, Kittle, Olave. So there's Kenneth Walker. I'm just going to take Kenneth Walker in this spot, and then I'm probably going to try to stack him with McLaurin or Dotson. So I ended up waiting on running backs, and I am pretty content with the matchups that I got at running back. Aaron Jones, he actually has one of the best matchups on this slate. Pittsburgh is really on the slate, the main slate, they're worse against the run. So Aaron Jones got a lot of the carries last week. I do actually really like him in this matchup. So, and then, yeah, I took Kenneth Walker. Like I said, that it's not a super great matchup going against Washington, but they just traded their two best pass rushers. This game has shootout potential. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring going on, and I just like being able to get a piece of that. And specifically, Washington along the defensive line, they're just kind of a mess right now. So I could totally see the potential for Kenneth Walker to go off in this spot. But yeah, I took Walker, then Jackson, Ingram, Kirk, and then it's one more player in front of me. And then there you go. There's Terry McLaurin right there. And he's still there. So I think that's what it's going to be. Terry McLaurin. Fuck. I can't take another wide receiver. That's right. So I actually have to take a tight end here. So at this point, I think we're just going to take best available tight end. We got Schultz, we got Ferguson, we got Trey McBride. Yeah, I think Schultz is the best tight end. So certainly the pick. So yeah, that's going to wrap this draft up. I ended up with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase with a Tank Dell bring back. And I do have Schultz. So if that game goes nuclear, I'm in a great spot. Like I said, I would have liked to have sacked McLaurin. I suppose I could have got Logan Thomas, and it's probably should have been the pick now that I think about it. But Dalton Schultz is a guy that projects really well, so perfectly fine with that. So we'll see how this draft goes. Of course, a couple other guys I want to get into as far as positions, running back. Like I said, we went through quarterback. I'm going to go through my top plays at running back this week. Christian McCaffrey is always one of the top plays, but I do think it's a tougher matchup. So I would rather not go with McCaffrey to start. Get Tony Pollard. Fantastic matchup. I think Austin Eckler going against Detroit, that is a high game total. So in Austin Eckler, even though Detroit has a good defense, he's going to catch passes. So they have a good run defense, but catching passes out of the backfield kind of negates some of that. Like I said, Joe Mixon going against Houston, it is a really good matchup. I think you can go there. I prefer the Burrow and Chase side, but if that fails, it's going to fail because Joe Mixon is probably getting all the touchdowns. So, that's going to be kind of the top plays that I really like. But also, like I said, Aaron Jones going against Pittsburgh, that's who I drafted. It's one of the it's the worst run D on the slate. So I like that a lot. Najee Harris and Warren. If you wait at running back going against Green Bay is also not very good against the run. And then Alexander Mattison, kind of sneaky because, his ADP in drafts was quite late. So I think a pretty good spot for Madison if you want to wait on running back. And then let's go ahead and kind of look at wide receivers. So for me, the top guy is Amon-Ra St. Brown and Chase just behind him with Higgins being out. Love those matchups. See on the Seattle side going against Washington, both Metcalf and Lockett. I think those are guys that you certainly want to get a lot of exposure to. Tennessee going against Tampa, really it's just DeAndre Hopkins. He's the guy to have in that offense. A little bit of Will Levis. That would be a kind of a stack you can wait on. And then on the Washington side too, McLaurin, that game projects, both of those teams are not good in the secondary. So that game projects well on both sides. So McLaurin, Dotson, Jacksonville, trying to attack them through the air. You could take a chance on Ayuk. He's not as good with Debo in the lineup, but you can also go for Debo as well. And then, kind of last for me is Houston and Cincinnati, both of those sides. So Chase, if you were wanting a double stack, it would be Boyd or Irwin. I think Irwin is kind of a guy you can get the final round. He's not being drafted hardly at all. So I would go there as well. And then on the Houston side, it's Tank Dell. There's no Nico Collins. So to a lesser degree, Noah Brown smashed last week. You can get Noah Brown too, probably at final round. You can get Schultz late, last round, kind of as I saw. At tight end, just a couple guys, TJ Hawkinson, Laporta, Ingram, McBride. Those are really the guys that I would be looking to target. And, you could certainly wait and get like McBride late. You can get Schultz late, like we just went over. Ferguson going against the Giants, you can get those guys late as well. So I think that will wrap it up. Best of luck for these drafts this week. And we will see you next week for another review and live draft and just overall strategy for week 10. So best of luck. See you next time.